Alright, what is going on guys, Slim here, and today's video I have a commentary for y'all, and I'm going to be ranking all 7 of these schools at max PvP, kind of like a tier list type of thing. Real quick though, before we get into the video guys, I just want to say, this is my opinion, and I'm not trying to roast anybody's schools. I play all the schools, I enjoy all of them, almost equally, so yeah, just keep in mind, this is my opinion, and I'm going to try and be as objective as possible on this tier list. But before we get into it, if you are new, feel free to subscribe. I do post every single day, and we're trying to get to 2K subs for 2023. So yeah, let's see if we can drop maybe 40 likes on this video as well. But yeah, let's get right into it, starting with the number 7 spot. Alright, so coming in at number 7, I think I'm going to have to put Fire. Now you might be like, Liam, I mean Stefan's Fire is number 2 on the leaderboard, and you know, that's a fair point. But objectively speaking, a lot of players this update got a lot of counters to dots, and you know, obviously Fire being the dot school makes it pretty bad. So I would say, you know, the dots and then also Fire's major lack of damage since Solar Surge has been removed. Heavy still is, you know, kind of mediocre. Now it's decent. King Art combo is still pretty good. Fire's kind of forced to go for gambits right now, unfortunately, and you kind of have to rely on your opponent doing something. You can't just set it up yourself like a lot of the other schools can, right? So I just think, you know, because Fire has bad stats, there's like 4 dot counters in the game now, right? And Fire doesn't really have a good card anymore, like Infernal Salamander before. It just, I feel like objectively, it's just really not in a good spot right now. However, I will say, Trap Stack Fire actually isn't too bad at the moment. I should have a video coming in the future about that. But if you are a Fire main right now, your best bet probably would be to, you know, just go for an overtime, like an elf, and try and set up a couple of phoenixes, I guess. But yeah, that's what I think is, you know, worthy of the number 7 spot. And now let's get onto the number 6 spot. Coming in at the number 6 spot, I think I'm gonna have to put the Life Wizard here. Now, the reason I didn't put Life last is because objectively Fire got hit harder than Life did. Because, you know, again, everybody has like 4 dot counters. Fire's stats got nerfed, right? Fire's, you know, can't use Heffy and Mander that efficiently right now. But Life only had their healing nerfed, and that's it. So that's why I put Fire at 7, and that's why I'm putting Life at 6. Life only really got 1 nerf this update, and Life actually, unlike Fire, gets really, really good PvP stats. I'm working on my Life build video for you guys right now. I don't really have it on me at the moment, but Life basically gets some of the best stats in the game right now. They have Luminous Weaver, which is always a good move, and it does like 1,000 per pop still, right? Caddy still has an 800 absorb, which is like 800 free health almost, right? So, you know, combine that with, you know, like Pacify, Troll Minion, Life actually really isn't a bad school right now. I've been having a decent time on my Life so far. I haven't played, you know, that much matches so far, but I've been playing a lot of Storms, which is arguably one of Life's worst matchups. But I've actually been winning against Storm quite a bit because, you know, I just set myself up to trade better. You know, I try and get Bubble. I, you know, try and get a Blade up. I try and get a Fuel, a Devotion, so I'm like triple buffed. And then if I can take that triple buffed Caddy before they can take the Rusalka, I'm actually just ahead and I'm chilling really. So I don't know. I do think Life should be able to heal, even though I'm not a healer. I think it got hit a little bit too hard this update. I think what KingsIsle should do is probably implement a heal cap. So for example, right now, you can only really use outgoing healing because they took out incoming healing, right? So I think they should pick incoming or outgoing and then cap that, and it may be 30 or 40, because then you don't really run into the problem where Satyr is doing more than a Rusalka, or just about the same, or, you know, a Generate does the same, and a Dryad is doing like 7k, right? You don't run into that problem, but Lifes can still effectively heal. Not to mention, you know, they can use a Guiding Light and a Sanctuary and still do, you know, a decent heal for the amount of pips, right? So, you know, I think life is still, you know, in a decent spot right now if you play well and you don't heal. But again, that being said, I would like to see life heal a bit more in the future, and that's why I think it, you know, certainly should be at the number 5 spot, number 6 spot, sorry. Alright, it's coming in at the number 5 spot. Now, I was kind of debating on this one for a little while, and I think I'm gonna have to put Storm. Now, a lot of people might be surprised by this, but I'm gonna tell you why it's not as good as people think it is. I know at the start of the meta, everybody thought Storm was OP, even though objectively, Storm wasn't touched at all, right? Storm is just supposed to be the hitting school, and people have been complaining about Storm's damage when it's the hitting school. So their argument was really bad from day one of this update, you know? I'm not sure why people complain about Storm when we have almost 4,000 less health than an Ice Wizard, right? We miss like 20 resist, we're missing like 100 block, you know? So I don't really get that argument, to be honest, but I think Storm is a good school right now. I'm not saying it's bad at all. However, I just think there's a lot of people that are extremely set for it, whether that's Stormward, you know, they're packing minus 80s, they're packing 9 set shields, you know, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a good school. You have cards like Kraken and stuff, which, you know, does help you against Ice, which is your hardest matchup. It helps you a lot against Fire as well, which is really good. And then, you know, obviously you do a lot of damage. I'm not dissing the school. Again, this is actually my favorite school in the game to play. And, you know, I've, you know, relatively had the most success on it this update. I just think the fact that it's being set for literally no reason, but for people being bad at the game is, you know, kind of annoying on a school that is very punishing to play, you know. A lot of the other schools just have it very basic, like Mana Burn, Brace, or Frostbite, A-Bomb, right? But Storm actually has to try and, like, you know, pull off combos, right? So it's a very skillful school, but unfortunately a lot of players that just don't play Storm and don't understand it just lack the empathy to understand how hard it actually is to play Storm right now, especially in this meta. But again, I do love this school, guys. I was, you know, top of the leaderboards for a little bit until I kept getting sniped and, you know, absolute dog water RNG. Very good school, has a lot of potential, and yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it needs a buff. I think it's good right now. I know the devs are kind of like, oh, well, everybody was saying Storm was OP, even though it literally wasn't. That was just the community being absolutely moronic, right? So the devs are kind of hesitant to buff it right now, but I think they should either leave it or give it a very minor buff. Maybe the health, you know, put that back to 9k. That would help out a lot, I guess, with, you know, Storm having to, you know, have bad stats with their Merciless gear, right? When I'm talking about bad stats, I mean, no matter what, if Storm runs full Merciless gear, like almost every other school right now, Storm actually cannot get good stats no matter what you do. But every other school, the 6 other schools can. So I think, you know, Storm really should either get a gear buff, a minor buff in terms of, like, you know, cards, or, you know, a slight HP buff. But that's what I think, and that's my opinion, and I'm going to leave it here at the number 5 spot. Coming in at the number 4 spot, I am going to put the Death Wizard. Now, I was debating over Storm and Death for a while. However, the thing that Death has that is better than Storm right now is basically just Grim Reader, right? 4 pips, 8 pips, doesn't really matter. It's a Shad that does 2 turns of tempo, and, you know, you can't really hit through it that well if you play right. So it's an extremely powerful Shad, but more importantly, I don't have the gear on me right now because I deleted my max level and I'm doing a PvE playthrough, but more importantly, Death can get the same amount of damage and the same amount of pierce as a Storm, but they get almost 1500 more health, and they don't give up anything for it at all. So I think the stats on the Death are absolutely insane. They have better cards, you know, like Grim Reader. Headless spam right now is just out of control. It does way too much for Death's damage per pip. And, you know, you can still drain relatively well on a Death, and I've been having fun doing that on mine before I, obviously deleted him. But I think Death is definitely worthy of the number 4 spot. And another reason I think why it is because a lot of people don't run Ice Mastery anymore. Because last meta, it was a lot more slow. You know, balanced Obsidian Colossus would be a lot more popular. Death last meta was absolutely broke. So you saw a lot of players running Ice Mastery. But now, everybody's kind of moved over to the Jin's Defense spam meta. So Death has actually kind of got a minor buff in that sense. So, I don't know, guys. I think Death is definitely worthy of the number 4 spot. Again, if King's Atlas buffed Storm's Merciless Gear to actually make it fall in line with the 6 other schools, I'd probably honestly tie these schools right now, if I'm being honest. But as of right now, just because Death gets the same stats as Storm, but they have better stats in every way, and they don't give up literally anything, Death is better than Storm. So yeah, let's get onto the top 3, and I think you guys should know what they are. But yeah, they're all pretty broken right now, I'm gonna be honest. So coming in at the number 3 spot, I'm gonna put Myth. Now, Myth at the start of this update, I thought was probably the worst school in the game. However, everybody started spamming the Mandar strategy that I, kind of started. So, you run Mandar Robe, Mandar Wand, Mandar Amulet to get 3 Mandar copies in your deck, right? So you can pull it easily. You Frenzy, and you just spam hit. Your opponent can't really hit you because you'll always trade better. And you get double pips from this, so pretty broken. I think a lot of the community has kind of come together on this and agreed it's just broken. Because if all myths are doing the same thing, just like King Art Yaga a couple of metas ago, it kind of is broken, So I think this is overdue. A very minor nerf. I think there is a fine line between, being able to outplay this and this just being a bit too much. I think right now it's a bit too much. I'd probably nerf the pip gain down to 1 pip instead of 2 pips per round. So that way you don't gain 4, I don't know, maybe just gain 2 instead. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. That, or they could actually just nerf the damage on it. So instead of 40%, you can make it 30%, but you get the double pip gain. So you actually, you're trading 10% damage for the double pip gain. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you're thinking Mandar in the comments below. The only school I can deal with it right now is Balance, and you'll see why Balance is up there on the list in a little while, but that's really all I have to say about Myth, really. Just because Mandar, it's just the most crazy school in the game right now, in my opinion. I mean, not the most crazy, I guess. I mean, like, you don't have to play well on a Myth right now to win, which is, a big issue, which you'll see with another school coming up here on the list in a little while. Just because Myth has Athena spam and Mandar spam, like, they literally don't have to do anything the whole game to win, and, like, I do think that is a problem. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I think about the number 3 spot, guys. So again, to reiterate, we had Fire, Life, Storm, Death, and now Myth at number 3. And now let's get on to the number 2 spot. So coming in at the number 2 spot, I'm going to put Ice. Now, I'm going to talk about, I guess, Ice and Balance, because at this point, Balance is number 1. And I want to talk about why I'm putting Ice here right now. So first things first, the broken Snowman card, again, everybody knows this card's broken, doesn't apply to Balance, that's the first thing. Also, another thing, Ice does not have to play remotely even close to playing well to get a win right now in this meta. I've seen so much absolute terrible Ice Wizards win, taking unbuffed hits after unbuffed hits over and over, and they just win off of literally doing nothing but A-bombing, right? So I've seen a lot of bad Ice play this meta, and I don't know, I think it's just because, Frostbite A-Bomb is really good, and Ice is doing way too much damage for being the weakest school in the game right now, really, If I was going to run the Timmy build right now, I could get 70 resist almost, 140 damage, and go to Pierce, right, on an Ice Wizard, which doesn't make any sense at all, right? So I think combined with, like, the low skill cards like Snowman, A-Bomb, getting free bubble control on a pet, doing too much damage, right? Then, not really sacrificing anything. I mean, I don't really have my build on right now because, I don't always play my ice, but I just think for all those reasons, really, it's just, you know, objectively broken and, in my opinion, probably the lowest skill school in the game right now. You could argue Myth Mandar, but, you know, Myth Mandar doesn't get, like, 3,000 extra health and, like, 70 resist and 140 damage, right? So, I would say, you know, this is probably the lowest skill school in the game. I do think Ice is overdue of a nerf in this update. I do love playing my Ice right now. I just want to, you know, point out a quick disclaimer. I've been having a lot of fun playing Ice the way I want to play it, which is full glass cannon this update. And, you know, I do think players should be able to play full glass cannon and do a lot of damage on an Ice if they want to. But the defensive Ice gear right now is just way too good, right? So I guess the best advice I could give to KI on this is, you know, the gear difference between the Highland and the Merciless isn't strong enough for Ice. I think Highland should be a lot weaker. You should get way less damage. You probably leave the Merciless the way it is right now because, you know, you want to, if you want to play offensive, you can. You know, you are actually giving up, like, you know, almost like 20 resist or something. And, you know, actually other stats like that, like accuracy. So, I don't know. I think, you know, a gear audit nerf, maybe. A-bomb, Snowman, cap those cards, maybe. I don't know. Again, I brought up the 4 points earlier, so I don't know, guys. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I do know the community is in consensus on Ice and Myth being the easiest schools to play in the game right now, and that you don't have to play well on them at all to win, which I do think is a big problem, because right now, you know, I would argue the 5 other schools in the game right now, they've gotten really balanced to the point where you actually do have to play well to win to a point, which is definitely a step in the right direction, you know. Hats off to KingsL for that. Like, very good job, guys. But, yeah, without further ado, I will get onto the #1 spot. You guys all know what it is, basically, so I guess we'll get right into it. Alright, so coming in at the #1 spot, I assume everybody saw it coming from a mile away. But, you know, it's the Balance Wizard, and the Balance has had a lot of ups and downs, you know, I reckon. But right now, honestly, I think Balance is in a really good spot. The only nerf I think Balance should probably get would be, you know, a cap to mana burn. Again, I said this a while ago when mana burn was, you know, broken still. I think a cap to this card would, you know, always just be beneficial. It caps a lot of ping pong cards as well, like Steel Ward, Jin's Defense. Any spammable card that just doesn't really take a lot of thinking should be capped in this game, in my opinion. But, yeah, Balance is in a really good spot right now. You know, you get some of the best stats in the game right now. I'm missing Sniper on my pet, but you can, you know, you can look at the numbers here, and your mind kind of starts to just melt. I'm missing my D-Lance and my Rock as well, by the way. So, Balance gets some of the best stats right now. Mock is really good. Burn is really good in this meta right now. You can Brace, which did not get nerfed, unlike Infallible did this update. So this is just the best aura in the game right now, aside from the 6th round auras, obviously. So then you can do this, have like, you know, 70 resist, pop anybody who tries to challenge your Brace, right? And get like a free 1,000 damage in. You have good minion killers like Curse, you have hidden shields to counter the elemental schools, you have, you know, trap counters, blade counters, a good mock, like you have everything on the school. And I think that's kind of what KingsL was going for on a Balance, which, you know, I do think they accomplished it, but again, I think maybe a very minor nerf to stats, and probably capping mana burn would be the best way to balance the school out right now. Again, that being said, right now I think my Balance is my 2nd most successful character at the moment, because I haven't really, you know, played on stream with him very much, so I haven't gotten sniped nearly as much as usual. So, you know, I really do like Balance this update. I said Balance and Storm are probably my favorite schools in the game right now, but you know, I do think it's very due of a minor nerf. Again, nothing too huge, just to, you know, make it fall back in line with, you know, the concept of playing well to win, not just playing awful and, you know, spamming the same card over and over to get the win. So, yeah, I don't know. That is the tier list, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What would you change around on my tier list? And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.